I know this has to be dealt with. He's a very enlightened man. And it's interesting because those of you who know him should say, look, now that you're chairman of the domestic part of the House Government Reform and Oversight Committee, let's have a little hearing. You can call it. Time to put their feet to the fire, these politicians. Now, I'm just a country doctor from Virginia. But what I can deliver to that committee are those people who have this positive proof, the documents, the evidence, and the men and a few women who've been in these projects who under oath will testify to what this is. And the whole world will be watching that. Ask him to do it. Write his office and ask him to convene hearings this year so this is done. Because you know what? If the United States doesn't step up to this, it's going to be done elsewhere. I can tell you, listen to what I said a little while ago. It is going to happen one way or another. So it's very important that it happen globally. And we have people now on some key committee chairmanship positions who know this is real, know it's true, and they need to walk the walk, no matter what the cost. Now it can be heavy, the price for this, but it's worth it. Because if we go to that place of what we see as who our true self really is, what the true nature of our being is, it is beyond all fear. And you can see that you do what you need to do. And this is why, through my life, since I was 17, 30-some years, my whole purpose has defined how I can manifest this vision and help be part of a force to create this good future. Not only in consciousness and contact, but in the technologies. And we need your help there too. We're men that we're working with and amazing scientists, but they're working out of their basements and they're working separate and there's no synergy. And the technologies are there if we can put it all together. And we have got to find somebody who's not a Nazi about money, because I don't care about money at all, but who will put the funding in, it's a modest amount, $10, $20 million, and put an R&D effort together to build up these systems. We have at least half a dozen of them that could be done in 18 months. And goodbye oil, goodbye gas, goodbye coal, goodbye central utilities, hello new operating system for the planet. Of course, it's not risk-free, but you think you're going to put this other civilization to bed and wake up and stand up this new world risk-free? If you want risk-free, go eat Cheetos in front of the boob tube watching J. Okay? But that's not why you're here. You're here to take these risks. You're here to be the bodhisattvas, all of you. You're here to stand this civilization up and manifest it, because it's already there on this divine level and within our own consciousness, and you can see it. You know what I'm telling you is true, that this world is ready to appear, and why it hasn't is a mystery, and the mystery is locked within ourselves, and it's because we have to have enough of us who come together to manifest that good world. And it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of action, but it can happen. We've gone this distance, and we'll go the rest of the way. Because the time that we are entering is a cycle that's a 500,000-year cycle, that will, the hallmark of which will be unbroken peace, universal peace, the abolition completely of poverty on this planet, the dawning of enlightenment, first in certain cells and then worldwide, and our civilization becoming an enlightened, cosmic conscious civilization going out amongst the universe. And we won't go there until then. Why? Because there's a universal order that prohibits any civilization to leap too far out of its biosphere unless it has embraced universal peace. You know, back in the 90s when I was doing these briefings for President Clinton and his CIA director Woolsey and all these folks, I was asked to go to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where some of the debris from the early retrieval of these extraterrestrial vehicles were taken. And I was meeting with the Foreign Aerospace Science and Technology Center, which had been FTD, the Foreign Technology Division. It's now called the National Air Intelligence. They keep changing their name because they don't want anyone to track them. But that's where the old original facility, back from the 40s and 50s. And I was meeting with this colonel who was there, and this suit, civilian who was a spook. And the colonel turned to me and he said, well, what if some of these civilizations are hostile to us? I said, well, with all due respect, given the utterly stupid things we've been doing, targeting them with electromagnetic pulse weapons and the like for the last 60 years, if they were hostile, this planet would be a cinder floating through space and we wouldn't be having this conversation. And he looked at me. I said, and you know it. I said, don't try to stand up another excuse for ramping up the military-industrial complex. Star Wars, that paradigm is over. And if you don't retire it, you're going to have your clock cleaned. And this is how I say it, was like kaboom. It was going, whoa. But it was interesting because I encountered this in the civilian world because so much disinformation has been put out there about extraterrestrials and why they're here and these scary UFOs. And well, some of them are scary, but they're manufactured in Utah and are manned by creatures that look like aliens with bug eyes that are human-made. And they abduct people because they want to sow the seeds of fear so that people eventually will support Star Wars and the next level of conflict. This is what Wernher von Braun, the inventor of the rocket for crying out loud, told his personal spokeswoman before he died, who's on our team. And von Braun said, you know, we were going to have this Cold War because we had to have it. They wanted it, the machine wanted it, the war tears on. Then they were going to roll that, close that down and have global terrorism. This was before 9/11. We put this testimony out, I might add. Then it would be followed by a threat from space, a la the movie Independence Day and all these other things, that we would completely manufacture through elaborate psychotronic, radionic, disinformation campaigns to scare the hell out of the people. Because through fear, people get shut down and they become little. When we're afraid, we become small. We're children again, but not the kind of children, not childlike, childish. So we become childish. And we give up our power to Big Brother. And that's exactly what the controllers want. Don't do it. Don't buy into it. It's a program. Well thought out, well funded. And the truth is that these visitors are here to welcome us with arms at the time that we become peaceful, universal, and ready to go in space peacefully. But until then, we'll be tossed back like a bad penny. You know, my uncle, who was the chief project engineer for the lunar module that built the thing that took Neil Armstrong to the moon. And I have talked about this at great length. He lives out here in Southern California. He's still alive. He's 86. And it was interesting because in doing this work, I've gotten to know a number of Apollo astronauts, and someone who's on our team used to work very closely with Neil Armstrong. And he had admitted that when they landed, the crater above where we landed was crowded, I'm quoting, with extraterrestrial vehicles watching. But he was also said that we were basically warned off the moon. It's like flagged off. Why? Because that was part of the arms race. We were doing it competitively with the Soviets. Remember all the brouhaha when Sputnik went up and we were like, oh my God. So we didn't go into space as a peaceful world civilization. We were going out there as a competing military. And the space program of this and other countries have always been run by the military and intelligence programs. That's got to end. We need to go into space as a peaceful civilization, Earth and in space. And that's the only way we're going to be welcome. And rightly so. Why? There are civilizations out there that are at our level of technological capability. They're not interplanetary. but they don't even have a